Hi, it's Chris Matlashewski. I'm with Joel from Canadian Residential Inspection Services, and today we're going to do a quick overview on maintenance and things to be aware of in the mechanical room. Joel, tell us a couple of things. We've got hot water tank, we've got poly B, we've got some wire, water lines, furnace, water softener. Tell us a little bit about what to be aware of.
So we are in a mid-90s house. So this age house is very common to have poly B water pipe. The key to remember with this type of water pipe is to make sure that your insurance company covers you appropriately for it. There have been some issues, and there are issues with this type of pipe. So it's important to make sure your insurance company covers you appropriately for it. So when we look at a water tank, one of the key things to remember, set the temperature appropriately so it's not too hot and not going to scald somebody. But more importantly, we're looking for any leaks, and your safety valve on the side, we want to make sure that the bottom, there's no drips, it's not leaking, because this is a safety valve for the tank, so it's a very important valve. One thing I noticed right away, the plastic water line for the humidifier was touching the heating plenum for the furnace. These do melt, and I have seen them a number of times melted and leaking, so it's a good idea to tape this off to make sure it's not touching the furnace ducting. The furnace itself, yearly maintenance and servicing is recommended. We also want to make sure that the furnace filter, we buy a furnace filter that's the right size as the one that's already in here, and we make sure that the arrow is always pointing towards the furnace. The furnace filter should be checked every 4 months to see whether or not it needs to be replaced. Water softeners. Water softeners do require servicing and maintenance. They do require salt to be put into the softener periodically, and that depends on how much water is being used in the house, and it does require some cleaning and servicing periodically, so it's important to have a service technician come out and do that. And you can actually get the water tested as well to determine the effectiveness of the water softener. Now, one thing I noticed too up here, the furnace exhaust flue, your chimney, we want to make sure that we have proper clearance around the chimney for fire safety, because that can, the heat from that can actually start a fire. The main water shutoff for the whole house, this one is actually seized, so this does not turn. So if there is a major leak in the house and there isn't an isolation valve or a water valve near there, this guy needs to be used to shut all the water off, and in its current condition this will not be effective, it won't work. So that's a quick overview of the mechanical room.
Perfect. Thanks, Joel.
Can we need to redo that?
Why?
Because it's Canadian Residential Inspection Services.
Do I have to go through the whole thing?
Because there is a Canadian Residential
Inspection Services. Keep that.
Canadian Residential
Seriously,
Inspection
I'm
Services.
quite serious.
What? Just remember it for a second.
Canadian Residential Inspection Services. Can I say Joel?